All right, hi everybody. In today's video, I got Dan of Vagabond Awake. Stay tuned.
Hey everybody.
All right, so Dan, it was great running into you. We actually met. I was extending my visa, and you're working on getting out.
Yeah.
I won't spoil the surprise on your channel and what's going on, but but so yeah, I was actually. I don't watch a lot of YouTube channels, but your channel is one that interests me, and I've watched it and I knew who you are. I don't think you knew who I was, but you do now.
I do now, yeah.
But so we got to talking, and we decided to go ahead and meet up, and really I wanted to get, I know a lot of people can get your story on what led you to travel and everything from your channel, but I wanted to get into maybe some different questions today. With all the travel that you've been doing, like the first question right off my head was, if you could go back to, let's say, February, March, pre-pandemic, and you knew this pandemic was going to happen, which country would have you chose to be locked down in?
Well, that's a really good question. That's a really insightful question. We've talked about this. My viewers, they know Chung Hui. She's in at least half my videos. And
yeah.
we've had this conversation. We've even done a video on it, and we say here, not just Philippines here, but here in Dumaguete.
Dumaguete. So what are some of the reasons why you would want to be here for the lockdown, and not like some place that maybe has better infrastructure? Or...
Oh, sure, yeah. So it's partly emotional, because just the feeling you have here. The Philippines in general are really nice people. We really enjoy Filipinos. We enjoy the culture in general, the politeness, the pace of life. So in general, the Philippines is a big winner for us. And you add the pandemic to that, and now you're stuck at home. And so what you start thinking about when you're stuck at home is, how much space I have around me, how nice is it, how easy is it to get groceries, can I order things online, if I'm going to get out for just an hour or two a day, where can I go, and all of that really adds up nicely in the Philippines. For example, we have a 2-bedroom apartment. We have a living room area with a large table we can work at, and a big kitchen, and the kitchen's fully equipped. We have a patio out front where we can cook. If it's hot during the day, we don't have to bring the heat into the house. We're in a cottage that has space around it, and beautiful greenery around us, it's cheap. I mean, we're paying $380 per month for our rent. And you know, there's cheaper places around town, but we really like where we are. We're in a very secure community, and then we can easily get to the market. The prices are fair. The Philippine government, at one moment I knew what this data was, but maybe it's been a few weeks now, so this probably isn't accurate. But in the Philippines, when we were last checking, we had like 40 deaths per million people that are in the islands. Right. At the moment, the U.S. had over like 500 deaths per million people. Sure. And that's kind of an accurate evaluation of how well a country's doing and how safe you are in a country, because death tells you, A, did anyone catch the thing, and then if they did catch it, did they live? And then it tells you, based on population, you need a relative population number, or the number doesn't make any sense. It works out for that. Not everything the Philippines has done is perfect, but we felt really at home during this, and so we would rank this number 1. And maybe we're just lucky, but that's how it goes. Okay,
I'm actually surprised. I thought you might pick like Malaysia or Thailand or Vietnam, but the Philippines. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Though I think maybe if not just you but me, if we were in Manila or Cebu, maybe our opinion would have been different.
Yes. Yeah. Well said.
What about when things do open up? Do you have a country that you already in mind that you're going to take off to and go visit?
Yeah, so we left Malaysia in. Can I pause for a moment?
Oh, that's okay. We have a.
Okay, no worries. So we left Malaysia in October 2017, and we explored Mexico and South America.
Okay.
And then we spent a little time in Europe and Portugal, and then we came over to Southeast Asia, and we spent time in Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, and then the Philippines. And so we're just winding up a world tour here in the Philippines, and from here we were thinking either of going, starting in the north part of Eastern Europe and moving down maybe from Estonia down to Turkey.
Okay.
Spending maybe a year doing that, or possibly picking up again in Central America and moving back into South America. There's a couple countries we want to pick up there, like in Argentina and Brazil. We didn't get to go when we were there a year ago.
Okay. And so at some point, I don't know at what point it is for you. I kind of have an age and a time period that I myself am going to say, okay, I've traveled enough, it's time to make a home someplace. Do you have a leader in the pack that you would say, okay, this is the top place that I could make a home?
Yeah, I think one of the things so I left the USA in 2007.
Okay.
So I've been 13 years on the road, 65 countries so far.
Wow.
And one of the things I've realized is that the environment within a country is very dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, Thailand's going through a transformation that
Right.
expats don't like too much. You used to read a lot of negativity online about it.
Right.
Whereas if you were reading about it 5 years ago or 8 years ago, it's number one in the world for many people.
Sure.
And now it doesn't seem to get that sort of fanfare. And it's not just Thailand, but moods change, cost of living changes, the value of the dollar or whatever currency you're using changes. And then also as places become popular, a lot of people show up there, and it turns some places that were once enjoyable into maybe overcrowded or maybe too much infrastructure being built.
Right.
And so the world is a dynamic place. I think it's important to, and for me, the way I view it is, I often recommend that people don't buy real estate, that they keep a dynamic life. They travel enough that they're aware of the world, and then when things don't go well in one place, or they just find a place they like or read about a place they like, they're able to pick up and not just go there for a week or two, but go spend 3 months, 6 months, or a year.
Yeah.
And if they don't have a home to worry about somewhere, they're just able, the world's their oyster, they're able to move on. So I when I was younger, 20s, 30s, I was thinking that I would keep a retirement home in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
and that I would travel half the year, and that but now I don't. I do own real estate in the U.S., but I've given it to a property manager. It's rented out,
Okay.
and income comes from that, and I don't really have any intention to living there again. Although once in a while, if a unit goes vacant, it's a small fourplex.
Sure.
I'll move into that unit and I'll remodel it just so I can increase the rents a little bit, stay up with market.
Okay.
Refresh it, but I don't really plan to. My only trips back to the U.S. are to visit family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't plan on. It would be fun, maybe in later life,
Sure.
to get a small RV and tour see all of the national parks there.
Absolutely.
But in general, I don't see myself moving to a city in the U.S. and calling it a day, or anywhere else in the world. To me, the world is a fascinating, beautiful place. I think of it like education, and as you age, your brain's capacity slows down a little bit,
Right.
and so you need stimulus. You need to learn, I think, in life to stay aware and awake, and keep your noggin working right. And I see travel as like education, and it fills that purpose for me. So I don't really see myself settling down ever.
I'm kind of the same way. I give actually the same advice. I tell people don't buy real estate. Because a dynamic of a country can change at any point, and all of a sudden maybe the Philippines is like the Thailand currently, and and now you're stuck with a condo and a place you really don't want to be anymore, and you can't offload it because other people don't want to be here. So
right. That's great advice.
So living that kind of lifestyle where you guys are moving around a lot, I guess, would you consider yourself a minimalist?
If you consider one check bag and one backpack a minimalist,
I would, yeah.
then yes.
Okay. What about back home in the U.S.? Do you have a storage unit?
I do. I was once a big fan and still am of books. I have a bunch of books stored, and I have family photos.
Okay.
And I have a few. I used to collect Aboriginal art, which
Sure.
were masks and three-dimensional kind of art, and I have some of that in the basement.
Okay.
In storage. But I don't keep other stuff. Like I don't have furniture, and it's more just sentimental stuff. So.
You've given up at one point in your life. Was it hard to get rid of your stuff and
I was really never a stuffed person.
Okay.
The only thing I had an emotion for were vehicles. I used to like to have a nice car, but now I don't really care about cars. I don't own them. I've sold my car in 2007 when I left the U.S. Haven't owned one since. I rent a scooter once in a while, or a car sometimes. But I don't think I want to own a car anymore.
I think I kind of tie owning a car as owning like a condo. It's another thing that ties you down someplace. Yep, absolutely. So, all right, guys, that's about it. I just wanted to get Dan's input on a lot of things. Guys, check out his channel. He's got just a wealth of information on. I mean, he's traveled 65 countries.
Yeah, 65 countries.
More than double. I did about 30. I think I'm at 30 now.
Right.
Part of that was thanks to the U.S. military. They sent me around, not by choice. But so anyway, I'm going to put the link down in the description. Dan at Vagabond Awake.
Yeah.
So
it's great chatting with you.
Yeah, great chatting with you, and
enjoyed meeting you. And I like the way you present yourself on your channel, and the information you cover. I think is helpful.
Thanks. So hopefully we'll run into each other again. So guys, take care. See you next time.
See ya.